Welcome back, prospectors. I don't want to keep you away from the Cycle Frontier for very long, so let's jump right into my top 5 reasons to play the Cycle Frontier. Weapon design. I've always found the weapon design in futuristic alien games to be extremely hit or miss. Even in one of my favorite franchises, Halo, I did not find myself using the Covenant weapons very often because I found the design to be a bit off-putting at times. In the Cycle, there are some interesting, more unique style weapons, but most of them fill very similar weapon roles players use in most current FPS games. When it comes to the fire rates and recoil, many of them are similar enough to other FPS games to not be jarring while also being true to their own style. There's also a decent amount of weapon variety, so things don't get quite as stale. You can run shotguns, SMGs, even like revolvers, and some special weapons that you probably just have to experience for yourself. Risk, reward. So what do I mean about risk and reward? When you put together your character, you take your equipment, your weapons, your armor, and you go into a round. Anything that you gather, you can take out of it with you as long as you're able to safely extract. However, if you die, you will lose everything that your character brought in with you, minus like if you've insured some things with a certain caveat on how that works. Maybe you're like me and you have thousands of hours in arena shooters or battle royale games and they've lost their allure. I found with that little bit of added risk in games like the Cycle Frontier has really been a breath of fresh air. Gearing up your character, especially with equipment you have gathered, materials to craft, or grinded money runs to afford, with the knowledge that one wrong step could be the end of it all, really gets my heart pumping. There's also an incredible feeling when you have a crazy fight and you walk over and triumph to loot your sweet bounty, knowing exactly what you've taken away from your fellow prospector. Can be intimidating at first, but once you get that first taste of victory, you're completely hooked. Community interaction. And what I mean by community interaction is the ability to use voice over IP to talk to other players in your vicinity. There's a proximity chat system. So you can interact with people on your team if you've paired up with people within the game, or you can interact with other players that you may choose to engage in combat with, or maybe you decide to broker a truce. And going off our last point, it's so satisfying to talk your way out of a bad situation or finding a stranger to cooperate with that has a similar goal, especially in a world like this where risk exists. For a while, there seems to have been a shift away from community interaction in the FPS world especially. Though I admit there has been a resurgence recently with VoIP updates and different games within the genre and other games that have chosen to utilize it from the start. That being said, there's so much potential for memorable experiences when you add an extra level of community interaction. Maybe you'll make your next best friend roaming around Bright Sands, or you'll start your own villain origin story. Who knows? World building. Now, the team have really set this game up with a great foundation for expanding content long term. There are currently 2 maps and a 3rd map in the making, at least I believe so at the time of this video. However, with the core concept of exploring an alien world in a futuristic period provides nearly infinite possibilities for adding additional maps, weapons, or even entirely new game modes. Your imagination can really start to see the potential and run away pretty quickly when you think about this one. I would love to see what kind of universe the Cycle can expand into over years of support. Like, even if they just added more maps based on the world we're exploring, there's so many opportunities for crazy biomes, combinations of different regions, or new types of enemies to encounter, new types of factions to join with new weapons. There's just so many possibilities for this to just grow further. Player choice. The final thing, which I think may be the most important so far, the fact that you can run around without any gear at all, or you can stomp over every opponent with the best gear the game has to offer, is fantastic. Are you the player that wants to spend an hour sneaking about alone, meticulously plotting the method by which you will accomplish your goals? Or maybe you're the 3-stacked Shift W PvP Chad of the likes Fortuna III has never seen before. The beauty is all of these exist in the same game. And because of that, every single player's choice will create consistently unique experiences for all of us to learn from and expand on for thousands of hours. If the Cycle Frontier is your kind of groove, then you can catch me live throughout the week on Twitch, and of course consider subscribing so you don't miss out on the next video. Now, grab that reluctant friend of yours and let me convince them to pick up the game. After all, it is free, And if you're feeling a little uneasy about if the game has pay to win mechanics, I can help you out with that here.